All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're dissecting the lyrics of Miley Cyrus's absolute hit Party in the USA. Now, you've heard it at every wedding and backyard barbecue for a decade, right? But actually, scratch that. We're not just looking at it as a catchy tune today. What's super fascinating is that beneath all that upbeat pop production lies a surprisingly accurate step-by-step hero's journey about facing and ultimately conquering severe environmental anxiety. It's literally a masterclass in overcoming imposter syndrome.
So, to kick things off, we really have to ask ourselves, how do you survive a massive culture shock? Because that is exactly the crisis our protagonist is facing here. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Walking into a room where you feel entirely out of your depth, just looking around and wondering if you even belong. Well, as you'll see, Miley's journey in this song is actually a perfect roadmap for navigating that exact emotional turbulence.
So, let's get into Section 1. Welcome to Fame and Excess. If we map out her physical movement through Los Angeles, it tracks perfectly with her escalating emotional trials. She goes from arriving at the airport, to isolating herself in a cab, to finally stepping into the highly public arena of a nightclub. And with every single location change, the stakes just get a little bit higher.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream and my cardigan. Notice the striking juxtaposition here. You've got the vulnerability and sheer innocence of a simple cardigan and a dream, going right up against the intimidating land of fame and excess. It is incredibly evocative. A cardigan is protective, it's comforting, and let's be honest, it's fundamentally unglamorous. She's carrying her delicate, hometown hopes right into a city that is notoriously known for chewing people up and spitting them out.
Which brings us to Section 2, the turning tummy.
Welcome to Land of Fame Excess. Whoa! Am I gonna fit in? Looking out at the Hollywood sign, she explicitly voices her imposter syndrome with this incredibly raw question of belonging. Am I gonna fit in? The environment around her, where literally everybody seems so famous, acts as this giant mirror reflecting her deepest insecurities right back at her. The culture shock is immediate, and man, it is jarring.
My tummy's turning and I'm feeling kinda homesick. Too much pressure and I'm nervous. So, the crucial takeaway here is that this isn't just some fun party. It is a high-pressure situation causing literal physiological distress and homesickness. Her anxiety isn't just a fleeting thought, you know? It is physically making her stomach turn. That combination of pressure, nervousness, and missing home, it creates a perfect storm of panic right there in the back of the taxicab.
Moving on to Section 3, the Jay-Z remedy. But hey, every hero needs a magical helper, right? And hers arrives right in the cab. Her relief doesn't magically come from within. It comes from a completely mundane action. The taxi man just turns on the radio, and a Jay-Z song begins to play. Boom. It introduces a vital lifeline of familiarity into an entirely alien world.
Now look at the step-by-step physical transformation she experiences here that completely cures her anxiety. She recognizes the song, she puts her hands up, and internally, the butterflies fly away. By syncing her body to the music, nodding her head and moving her hips, she grounds herself. The music acts as a visceral antidote to her panic.
But wait, it's not over yet. Section 4, Kicks versus Stilettos. As she finally arrives at the club, a severe relapse of culture shock hits her like a ton of bricks. We can clearly see the visual alienation she feels by comparing her footwear. She's in her comfortable sneakers, her kicks, going up against the local uniform of stilettos. Once she steps out of that protective bubble of the cab, everyone is suddenly looking at her. Her footwear instantly marks her as an outsider, creating this massive, immediate visual barrier between her and her new peers.
So hard with my girls not around me, it's definitely not a Nashville party. Realizing she entirely missed the memo on how to dress, the homesickness and that turning tummy return with a vengeance because she is completely separated from her support system. Without her friends there to validate her, the contrast between her familiar Nashville roots and this incredibly intimidating Los Angeles scene just becomes way too much to bear. She is entirely isolated.
And that leads us to the climax in Section 5, the Britney resolution. Felt like hopping on a flight back to my hometown tonight. The pressure peaks right here as she actually contemplates giving up and flying straight back to her hometown just to escape the discomfort. This is the human fight or flight response fully activated, folks, and she is leaning heavily toward flight. The feeling of not belonging has completely overpowered her initial dream. But she is saved once again by the universal language of pop music, specifically when the DJ drops her favorite Britney tune. Her emotional rescue is split perfectly down the middle between two distinct musical moments.
If Jay-Z provided the initial triage back in the cab, Britney Spears provides the final, ultimate cure right there in the club.
Something stops me every time the DJ plays my song and I feel all right. This second musical intervention acts as a permanent anchor. It actively stops her from running away and chases those butterflies out for good. And once again, it prompts a physical reaction. She puts her hands up, nods her head, moves her hips. The absolute familiarity of the song creates a safe mental space for her to inhabit, completely shielding her from the alienation of the crowd.
I know I'm gonna be okay. Yeah, it's a party in the USA. Through the comfort of that familiar beat, she fully sheds her imposter syndrome, accepts her surroundings, and decides to just celebrate. She moves from a place of intense vulnerability to a place of total confidence. She realizes that, hey, while she might be wearing kicks in a room full of stilettos, she can absolutely still find joy and belonging. She knows for sure she's going to be okay.
As we wrap up this explainer on the incredible power of music to cure culture shock, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder. Because we all have those moments of overwhelming imposter syndrome, right? So, what is your musical armor? What song makes you feel like you belong when you are completely out of your element? Think about that for a second, and definitely keep it queued up on your phone for the next time you find yourself stepping off a plane into your very own land of fame and excess.